is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, but today we got Battle Birds podcast playoff edition. We got Eagles versus the Bucks, the youngest quarterback in the playoffs versus the oldest quarterback in the playoffs, weather conditions, new injury updates. Man, playoffs are here. How y'all feel?
That man, you know what it is. You know what it is. Your boy Philly Fresh, aka the General, man. Hey, man, it is not only football Sunday, but football playoff Sunday. Let's get us a dub, man, to shut everybody up. You know what I mean? Let's get some pressure on Tom Brady. We're gonna dive into that. Go ahead, Steve.
What's up, everybody? My name is Steve, Gay City Sports Channel. I apologize. The holdup was on my end, guys. Tampa Bay was trying to shut down my camera, but they couldn't hold me back. Hey, man.
we got
playoff football.
It went from Spygate to Flategate to Cameragate. I mean, they pulling all the gates out. No pun intended. Gate City.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, man, we got playoff football, guys. Like first year with a new head coach, first year with a new starting quarterback. We're in a postseason. Real positive achievement here.
Yeah, you're right about that. Now let's get to some of these updates. So we heard yesterday that Leonard Fournette is not in and Levante David is in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What is your general thoughts on their run game without Leonard Fournette, also not having Rojo, and then the fact that their defense is getting a playmaker, which I did read Steve's comment, and I agree. Who knows what percent he is out there. And if we get an 85 to 80% Levante David, he might just slow him down more than help him out. What is y'all take on that?
I'll go first.
Fresh.
I'm used to being late. I'm used to being the one at the bottom. Excuse me. But Davis, I don't know how injured he is, if he's 100% or whatever the case may be. So I can't really, I'm not going to say can't, but I don't really want to touch on that situation because I don't really know his injury, number one. I don't, but I mean, a lot of people are not 100% right now. I mean, we can look at people on our team that's not 100%, but we're going to have to see about that. The Leonard Fournette one, that's the big one for me. Not having him, not having your guy that can do everything. And he has been better catching it out the backfield this season than I've seen in his whole career. And they use him more, excuse me. So that's a big one for Tampa Bay. So now what they're gonna have to go with the kid from the that they got from the Rams, Michelle. They're gonna have to go with him.
They got
they're running Giovanni Bernard, Le'Veon Bell, and Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm not scared of none of them. I think Leonard Fournette is probably better than all of them rolled in one. So when you look at the situation, that's a major fall for them, and it's uprise for us. So you don't want to see people injured. You want to you if you're a competitor, you want to play them at the best of their game. But it is what it is right now. It's do or die. You know what I mean? If he dies, he dies. Go ahead, y'all.
I mean, look, I'll say that not having Leonard Fournette is going to affect your running game. Like the dude's a really good goal line back. I mean, he gets hot when he he starts playing his best football in the postseason. You know, he's been a pretty big force for quite some years. You know, and he's still young, to be quite honest. With that said, you know, Le'Veon Bell, I don't know how much is left in the tank for Le'Veon Bell. You know, and Giovanni Bernard is a good receiving back, but I expect that they'll make some adjustments here, Tampa Bay. I expect that they'll use the short passing game to supplement the run game. And Brady's pretty good at spearheading that. He's good at hitting those tight end screens and running back screens, you know, then those timing routes and passes where, you know, you're running out routes and dig routes and slants. He's pretty good at throwing those things. So that's what I would definitely watch out for if I was the Eagles is watch out for Gronk slipping off and, you know, OJ Howard and, you know, all these tight ends slipping off in that tight end screen. because I think that's one easy way of countering. And that's what I would look out for, because it's not the same, right? Fournette being out there is definitely a break for the Eagles. There's no doubt about it. But when you got Tom Brady, he can make a lot of dudes that aren't that good look good.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier this week. You never know if you get the Scotty Miller game or the Tyler Johnson game or the guy that came in for AB against the Jets. And I know he's banged up. I don't know if he's playing, but it's definitely an interesting part of this game, just the people that have not been able to stay healthy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers compared to us getting some of our guys back. Man, but at the end of the day, we got to take care of 12, and 12 is going to find Gronk once in a while. So you definitely got to pay attention to him. Let me ask you guys, defensive line, who's the most important on the defensive line to really wreak havoc in your eyes, to get to get Tom Brady off his spot and do them type of things? Gate?
I'll say this to begin with. News just broke about Josh Sweat that probably we should discuss, because he had a life-threatening situation pop up earlier in the week. So I mean, it was a lot worse than what we were led to believe. But he was hospitalized on Tuesday, and they had to perform a procedure to save his life. Apparently, I didn't know all that. That's definitely news to me. So he's out this game.
Wait. Where you see that at? I'm seeing everybody.
Shefty just reported it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty big news, man. Last thing I heard, that he had traveled with the team and he was all smiles in the hotel room. Of course, it's coming from Jeff McClain, so take that with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, that was the report. He was with the team. He flew with the team. He was at the team's hotel. But when you're dealing with an illness, you can wake up and not feel good that morning. It's just the way those things work, unfortunately. With Josh Sweat pretty much looking like he's a definite scratch for this game, that's a lot of stress, man. I think that the dude that's going to have to eat this game that no one's expecting is two guys. Number one, Milton Williams, do your thing, man. Play a 5 technique, play that 3 technique, move that man around. Let's get some pressure with Milton Williams. Number 2, Fletcher Cox, my guy with a huge contract. It's time to show up, bro. It's playoffs. This is when you're supposed to shine. You've been healthy. You said this is the healthiest you've ever been going into the postseason. Let us see it, bro. You get one-on-one, make them pay for it. Make them pay if they put you one-on-one with somebody. Those are the two guys, in my opinion, and then you can argue about Derek Barnett, but those two guys in particular, I think, are the guys that could really impact the game, because you know that in short spurts, they've been really good. Can they do it for the duration of 70% of snaps? Because that's probably what it's going to take today to knock Brady off that spot.
Yeah, real quick though, shout out to Richard Kane with the $2 super chat. Pretty much jumping on where we at, talking about how we feeling about the D-line versus our D-line versus their offensive line, and no Josh Sweat. That's crazy though. Life threatening, man. I'm just happy he's good, to say the least. It did just pop up on Schefter. I was reading it, but go ahead, Sweat. I'm about to call you Sweat. Go ahead, Fresh.
Go ahead, Josh Sweat, coming to us live.
Yeah, go ahead and let us know how you feel about the D-line. Who's your guy that got to stand out?
I mean, first of all, thoughts and prayers to Josh Sweat. Now, like, damn, I did hear something about him, but it wasn't nothing. Nothing alarming. That's why no video was made by anybody or anything. But damn, this is a hurt piece, not only in the game, but hopefully he's fine in just in life. Period. Yeah. My guy is the second guy that you named, Steve, and it's not even close to me. And it's so much that I went and I said this backstage with Mike. I went and I looked at the Seattle game in 2019. And dare I say, he was dominant in that game. It's a reason why Russell Wilson couldn't put up no points. And he was just dominant. We need that today. I need that today. I understand you saying you healthy and this and that. Like you said, prove it to us. Show us. Because we'll get a play out of you. We won't even get a series out of you, though. Like a dominant series. We'll get one dominant play. You get into the backfield, yada, yada, yada. I won't get a dominant series from you, and I definitely have not seen a dominant game from you. Today needs to be that day. And if not, then it got to be Hargrave. The pressure has to come from the middle. Brady is too good at sliding in that pocket. He can go right to left, up and down. You know what I mean? Sound like I'm trying to do a cheat code.
Cha-cha slide.
but seriously, he know how to move in that pocket, and it's a reason why he's still playing at 40, at 59 years old. So we going into a situation to where as though the two guys in the middle gotta dominate.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta dominate, man. Gotcha.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Tom Brady's footwork in the pocket, the ability to climb the pocket and do all that stuff, he's not going to extend really outside the pocket, but his ability to climb and do all that is scary. And so the interior to me has to be the dominant. Now Tyrese Hayes says Herbig is out too. What's going on?
I don't see anything. Well, I mean, unfortunately, because we're on live stream, it's kind of hard to see the actives and inactives. But I knew that Herbig had been dealing with a couple of things going on with the lower body issues. I'll say this, Mike. I mean, it's probably a game where you get behind the left side of the offensive line. that's the way I look at it. If you're going to go to the right side, I'd expect to maybe see Dickerson and those guys be used in pulls a lot. Malata.
I agree. Do we have any concerns with Miles Sanders? I mean, he got the go to be 100%. How do you feel about that hand? I mean, his hand, do you think it's going to affect him carrying the ball, being able to block?
Do we officially know the weather in Tampa Bay? To me, that means a lot. Is it going to be raining? Is it going to be windy? Because trust me, I had a fractured wrist. Carrying that ball with a hand injury or wrist injury, any type of injury on the hand, it hurts because when you're holding the ball, you're putting so much pressure with your hands. So you're squeezing the ball, and it hurts so much when you have an injury. Now, if it's raining, I seen your videos, Mike, and I definitely appreciate everything you said about them Tampa Bay having to throw the ball and especially with Leonard Fournette out, so it goes into the Eagles' advantage. But I'm more scared of Miles Sanders running the ball in those situations if it's raining, because that ball gets, especially if it's supposed to rain how they saying it, that ball gets super slippery, man. That leather ain't nothing to mess with. So I do want it to be raining for one reason, but then I don't for another reason, because I don't need him to putting that ball on the ground. We had to not play perfect, but a flawless game. We can't have these turnovers, these stupid penalties, and we're going to get into some of that later on. And we know Miles Sanders is known for putting the ball on the ground. Let's not try to act like he's not. So I just hope it don't rain. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hope it don't rain, man. And it's for multiple reasons about his hand. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think the big thing here is that, depending on the severity of the injury to the wrist and the hand, they're going to swipe at it. They're going to go for it. Probably a good sign. I didn't see a cast on his hand earlier in the week during practice. So, but we're talking 3 weeks removed. That's tough, man. That's really tough. I don't know. I mean, if I would suspect that Tampa Bay is going to go for that hand early in the game just to see where he's at from a physical standpoint. I mean, it's what I would do. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm telling everybody, hey, man, if he runs inside zone and you can get in there and stack him up, go for the hand, swipe as hard as you can, try to punch that ball out. We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that he's ready to go, and that maybe the severity of the injury wasn't quite as bad as maybe we were led to believe, but it had to be somewhat serious because it did require some kind of surgery, if I'm not mistaken, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, real fast, Dope 72 D Dubs. He only has one fumble that's been recovered. He put the ball on the ground a couple times this year, more than a couple times this year. So I just want.
Yeah, that's a problem that goes back to college with him, honestly.
Yeah.
The issue with fumbling.
See, yeah, I agree. I do think hopefully his hand holds up. just because of his style of running plays to what we need to do against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is that outside zone running, sprint outs, just get on the outside the tackles, because Vita Vea is just a big man in the middle. And for all Tampa Bay's great defensive performances against the run, they went from number 1 to number 3 when you look at the rankings. But as Fresh like to do when we played the Broncos and when we played the Saints, he didn't listen to just the totality of how good they were. He looked at the last couple games. And if you look at the last 6 games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, 4 out of 6, they allowed 100 yards on the ground. So
yeah,
they weren't playing world beaters. Yes, Jonathan Taylor was one of them, 4 out of 6, but Carolina twice, Buffalo, these are not heavy run teams without McCaffrey, and Buffalo likes to throw the ball as well. So for 4 out of 6, 100 yards in your last 6, Eagles just got to go out there and say, we are bigger, we are stronger, and we are going to play with the wind. Jalen's going to have to make some passes, but at the end of the day, this run game has to be the reason why we win, with Jalen adding a little spice on top. But when you are number 1 at something, you don't let nobody dictate anything. And so Jordan Howard, a guy who likes to run in between the tackles, not saying don't do it, but I do expect to see some outsides runs. And this is a game that Jalen Hurts has to get some design runs. Hopefully his ankle's good, because we haven't been running him the same. But I think you can really beat up Tampa Bay on the edge if you're using Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Mike. And someone brought up earlier, I think it was KOLLC was talking about kind of like, might they actually feature more of Jordan Howard and Boston Scott? And might we see Miles Sanders maybe relegated to the change of pace kind of role, given the situation that's kind of, going on with his hands? Which, I don't know. I haven't seen the Eagles inactives. I'm looking from like 6 minutes ago. I see Tampa Bay's released. I don't see Philly's released yet.
So I was trying to. It just came out.
It just came out. Yes, I didn't see it yet, but I don't know what's going on with certain guys. But I mean, maybe they'll have Sanders in that role, and if he can't perform because of the hand, maybe they'll bring in Gainwell or. Well, Steve, I'm not too sure. Does anyone know, is Huntley actually active?
Huntley is not active. He's inactive.
So yeah, Huntley can't play that role then. So then it'd probably be Gainwell. So I mean, I would suspect that's probably what they're going to do, guys. There is that maybe they're going to feature more of the Howard and Scott role than use Sanders as the explosion back, here and there, maybe sprinkled in. But I mean, who knows, man? I mean, they might come out and it could be 4 handoffs in a row right to Miles Sanders. I don't know. It's hard to predict sometimes with the stat, and I don't know the health. I mean, that's the hardest part to predict. Is I'm not a doctor, so nor am I a physical therapist, so I have no clue where he is in terms of that. But I think that's a very important thing to watch early in this game, right? Is to see who is getting the reps there.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this. First playoff game for Nick Sirianni, and he's not being talked about a lot. I'm listening to sports talk radio. I listen to people's videos. I listen to my own videos. We're talking about Jalen Hurts nerves. We're talking about these young guys. Is there any thing that concerns you that Nick Sirianni gets panic, he gets ruffled, and he goes away from the run game that's been so good? Does that concern you at all?
I mean, I think he's been pretty consistent. I mean, there has been durations of times like, right around halftime and coming out of half where it does feel like sometimes like on a single possession, he can kind of lose sight of things for a minute, especially, there was one couple of weeks ago where we got some momentum coming. I think it was either right out of half or right before half. And then, he, got a couple of really nice runs, and all of a sudden we went like 3 or 4 passes in a row and ended up, basically punting the ball away as a result of that. Or we had to turn over and downs. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember there being that situation where it's like, man, what happened here? Like, why did we just kind of go away from it? So I do think there are little small spots, little spots and windows where you could critique that a little bit. It's like, hey, man, like, well, what are we doing here? But in terms of the overall flow of the game, I think he's been pretty good about, keeping things pretty balanced here. Now, the real question here, Mike, and I'll ask Reese this too. You got Howard's got a stinger. I don't know where he's at. It's a good sign that he wasn't really on the injury report at all. But, you got Sanders doing the hand thing. Boston Scott seems to be pretty healthy from what I can tell. Does that impact it?
Go ahead, Fresh.
Does what impact it?
The health of the running back room.
impact us getting away from the game plan and passing. We also just
Mhm.
saw someone say in the chat that their starting cornerback is out too. So,
Mhm.
with all that being a factor, do you think we go away from the run game? Are you
Well,
nervous about that?
here's the thing, and I did kind of briefly talk about him in my do's and don'ts on Friday. Last game was he didn't use the run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Mhm.
and the crazy part is, Miles Sanders is pulling 11 yards a clip. Like he like that's not what he ended with, but you didn't run the ball for 2 series. You give Miles Sanders the ball 2 straight times, he gets 2 straight first downs. You turn around and don't give him the ball again that whole drive. To me, I think he learned from that. And that might have been the best thing that happened for him to hopefully realize
Mhm.
I probably lost about 3 of these games by not running the football. And hopefully he understands that. You are number 1 in the whole NFL in rushing. Now, Jalen Hurts has something to do with that also. But you just can't say the quarterback just runs and that's it. You're not going to be number 1 in the NFL by just rushing your quarterback. So you have to understand, you probably have the best offensive line, if not the second best offensive line in the playoffs. Okay. Now with Herbig out, I don't. It's a lot going on, but I know you got the best offensive line coach in the NFL. Period. So he's going to figure something out. Trusting Jeff Stoughton, and Jeff Stoughton we trust. Okay. So you got a situation to where as though your offensive line loves for you to run the ball, and they come to you during games. Keep running it against the Broncos. Tell you keep running it. So hopefully he's taken in consideration of everything that happened this year. Him probably losing 3 of those games by not running the ball, and your offensive line telling you got to run the ball, and that we're number 1 in the NFL in rushing. So if you add all those things up, man, it should equal. I need to run the ball. Hopefully it does, man. Go ahead.
I think it's an interesting matchup, guys, to be honest, because look, Ndamukong Suh is probably not the same player. Well, not probably. He's not the same player he was 5 or 6 years ago.
That's why they need to give him the incentives, right? They gave him incentives.
Exactly. Yeah. But, you talked about him, Mike, Vita Vea. Those 2 guys are really good run defenders, at the very minimum. So, I mean, this is a great matchup in terms of like the O-line versus, their D-line. But what I will say, and it's not taking shots at Tampa Bay because I think that's a very good overall football team. But I don't know that teams I think Reese was kind of making this point a little bit, which is I don't know that teams have really stuck with the run against them because of how explosive they can be offensively at times when they had AB and Godwin and Mike Evans and Gronk and then OJ Howard and all these dudes all at once coming at you. So, I mean, I think that they knock teams out of the ability to stay with the run. And it might be a little different come this postseason. So I do wonder, I think that's going to be a major, little in between the lines battle here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the NFL, the trenches is what really wins the war. You know what I mean? The skilled players can win you a battle, but the trenches really win you wars. So you're absolutely right. This is something that we're going to have to look and dissect, and Nick Sirianni is going to also on how do you attack. Am I going to wham block them? Am I going to let them free and then run to a different hole on the outside or whatever the case may be? Just let them rush free and get out or am I going to screen them to death? It's a lot of ways that you can attack this defensive line because they're very, very aggressive. And if you get them going one way, it's hard for them to turn around and go the other way. So some misdirection, some sweeps, using some Jalen Reagor. I ain't got no problem with none of those, man. Use this defensive line aggressive against them, man.
Yeah. And you talked about misdirection. I thought Nick did a really good job of playing off that cross zone early in the season out of 13-man personnel to where he got defenses absolutely scared. We were going inside zone. He hit them with that cross zone look and then slipped out one of the tight ends for an easy dump off that would turn into 15, 20-yard plays.
Yeah,
and I would love to see that level of misdirection and that level of, just kind of, just messing with the defense's eyes. That's really what I love.
He's also in that same 13 personnel, he's using a lot of those pick routes too. And I like it. I like it a lot.
Real quick though, shout out to John W with the $5 super chat. He said fly equals fly. Get them Bucks a Hurts donut. I want to see them in Green Bay. Go Pat, go. Hey, I agree. Let's get them a Hurts donut and let's take that long ride to Lambeau, right? Let's take that long ride to Lambeau. It's a crazy look, regardless what happens today at 1:00, this Philadelphia Eagles team definitely responded in a way that we all could be proud and feeling good about next year. But I really honestly think the Eagles have more than a puncher's chance. When you look at the sports book and stuff, the 8.5, I just don't think, Tom Brady and this team, it's because of Tom Brady that this Bucks team is this highly favored, because this is not the same team, right? It's not the same team via their defense and their offense. And I do think the Eagles are coming in smelling the blood. Jonathan Gannon, though, we haven't talked about him. I know we all have our worries throughout the week. Gate does a live stream every morning, and I know he's talked about it as well. What is your take on Jonathan Gannon coming out there and learning from the last matchup, learning that, Tom Brady's going to be able to pick you apart? If there's anybody who can dink and dunk and pick you apart the best, it's going to be Tom Brady. What is your take on just how we come out and play this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense?
I'll be honest with you, Mike. That's the part of the game that's hard to predict. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, in some ways, what Gannon does, it's what you need to do to stop an offense like this. But here's the problem. Tom Brady's going to take those 12, 13 play drives. He's got no problem driving the field on you. To me, the defining factor is when you get them down to third and long situations, can you get this defense off the field? If they get inside the red zone, can you keep these guys to a field goal? Because if they're putting up 7 points, it's not bend but don't break. That's just straight break. It's not the first time we've expressed that sentiment on the show. And Jonathan Gannon is the guy that scares the crap out of me, because I know the league loves this guy. They think that this is a brilliant defensive coordinator on the horizon. He's a very inexperienced play caller, and you can see that in his game management at times, to where he'll make some boneheaded plays from a coaching perspective where you're like, what is going on here? Like, no, bad. This was really bad game management for the situation. With that said, I've seen the Eagles give up on a guy too early, and that guy just won a playoff game. Well, he's won plenty of playoff games, to be quite fair. But Sean McDermott just had a really impressive beatdown in New England. And we gave up on Sean McDermott before we should have. Now, I'll be fair about this. McDermott was in a no-win situation because the dude was tagged to replace Jim Johnson. It didn't matter who that dude was, man. The city was going to be against him. Even though McDermott was, he's not really a disciple, because I think their defenses are slightly different. But, he was coming out of that coaching tree. And that's my fear with a guy like Gannon is like there's a lot of good defensive coordinators that are floating around there. I've talked about Patrick Graham. I like Patrick Graham a lot. Although if you looked at the numbers, you're like, hey, why do you like that dude so much? Because it's what's on the film. It's what he did with a pretty kind of defense there. I know if you put that guy with some actual playmakers, he's going to be really good. There are some dudes out there that got names, Mike Zimmer got the name, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are dudes out there with really, really good names. What's his name? Got released from Denver. Got fired from Denver.
Fangio.
Yeah, Vic Fangio. I respect the crap out of him.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation, right? Because those dudes are all experienced. They're all experienced. You know that you could depend upon them. But, this is Nick's guy. The organization loves this dude. I just don't know, man. Like, to me, I know people are saying this is a defining game for Sirianni. Not for me, it's not, because Sirianni's already proven that he can manage a game and he can switch and he can do certain things. Like, I'm not saying that Sirianni can't still learn, but with Gannon, hey, man, those numbers are disturbing. As good as the second half of games have been, the first half of game, those numbers are really disturbing. And
goes from the worst to the best, to the worst.
It's really, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really scary to really look at that and say, like, what do you do? And this is a game where if I see him go out there, I know Brady's down, he's down some weapons, and you can make the argument, yeah, Gabe, but might we overhype this game if he does have a good result because Brady's not playing with a full arsenal? I don't care. At the end of the day, it's still Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, if you can legitimately hold Tom Brady to under 20 points, the dude can coach then, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. You know what I'm saying?
Gannon has made some improvements. It's really nothing to discuss there. It is some things that you will also like him to improve, but we do, like you said, Gates, it's the man's first year. He's trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Yes, when he goes against higher competition and quarterbacks, he tends to just let them damn near go perfect. You know what I mean? You got the Derek Carr 12 for 12. You got Tom Brady 14 to 15. You got all you got all these because of no pressure. And that brings me to say this, to bring up my X factor of this game. It is Jernard Avery. He is using Jernard Avery like I've been asking since freaking week 1. When I looked at, and it took a while, in the Washington game, because that's really the last game that we can really talk about that really meant anything. Mm-hmm. So the Washington game, I was there, but I watched the game again when I got home. The second half, the way that he's moving these pieces on his line, he had one play, he had Fletcher Cox on the outside, he had a Hargrave in the A gap, and he had Josh Sweat on one side, and he had a Jernard Avery right in between Fletcher Cox and Hargrave. The way that he's using him, he sent Hargrave, but Fletcher Cox stood back in coverage. Mm-hmm. So it's messing with, because they probably was swinging protection towards Fletcher Cox's side or Hargrave's side. So that left the middle open for Jernard Avery. Mm-hmm. These things, even if your offensive line is good, if they're not communicating, these things can get your quarterback in trouble, because you don't know who's coming, you don't know who's blocking. And I seen another one. He brought up Ronnie McLeod to blitz, but once again, he dropped the defensive. He dropped the defensive ends, and Ronnie McLeod wasn't Ronnie McLeod. No, it was. I'm sorry, it was Avonte Maddox came on a blitz. So I'm looking at things that I have not seen in the beginning of the season. He is growing as a defensive coordinator, and it took it to me. I want to say it kind of took too long for my liking, but we here now. If you get it, then get it. If you know what you're doing and you see what's working, now I've been asking for these things, but he's finally doing it, and it looks like they're working. So to me, what he has been doing has been better, but the quarterbacks have been lesser talent. The last good quarterback we faced was who? If you want to think about
Herbert.
it. Exactly. And we lost that game in overtime because they went on a 7-minute drive to end the game.
Yeah.
No, not in overtime.
Fourth quarter, yeah.
Fourth quarter, but I mean,
sorry, yeah. So
same kind of impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To game tied, they went on a 7-minute drive to kick a field goal to end the game. You cannot let these things happen. And this was against a guy in Herbert that went from in the first quarter, he was like 9 of 10.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So hopefully, him finally playing another quarterback that's upper echelon. Well, really at the top of the echelon. Ain't no upper. You do what you have been doing and see if that works, and not just play passive and say, "Oh, we're going," because Tom Brady will check, like you said, Gates. He's gonna check it down all day. He ain't got no whatever you give to him, he take it.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at the red zone, and then we'll see what happens then. He ain't got no problem doing that. You know what I mean? My only question, and I want y'all and also the chat to answer: what do you do with Gronk? Because he is the X factor in this whole situation. For he's going to be the toughest matchup for anybody on our defense. Avonte Maddox too small. Our linebackers too slow. So what do you do? Do you bracket him? What do y'all do?
I would, honestly. Let's get Jalen's comment in.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Jalen Williams with the $5 super chat. It's time to show up and show out. Need that type of energy. He said the playoffs are here. Fly, Eagles, fly. I agree 100%. But before Gate, go ahead and answer that question, and I do as well. For people just getting in here asking about Josh Sweat, he is out due to a life-threatening procedure he had. The doctors tried to get him right. He was so close to playing, but it's he can't play. We don't know the exact details of what the life-threatening thing was, but this is something that just came out an hour or so or 45 minutes or so ago. We just thought it was a sickness, right? Abdominal pain or something like that. Yeah. And he was in a hospital, had a procedure, life-threatening. So once again, prayers to Josh Sweat and shout out to the people asking. Real quick, we did get another super chat. LT with the $5 banger. LT is a wrenchy now. Again, Gannon is top 10 in defense this year, although it's ugly at times. Imagine him with 2 or 3 first rounders to play with in that defense next year. I agree. Look, it's again, context comes to where it's just, I can't never say that word, stat wise. Let me just go that way. Stat wise. Yeah, that word. He's good. I mean, he's holding people to he's top 5 in yards allowed against us, like top 12 in points per game. But you got to take what he did against good quarterbacks to what he did against bad quarterbacks. And I think he has learned, as Fresh said, but we're going to really, really understand what he's learned in this game. And so go ahead, Gate, let us know what you think we should do with Gronk.
To me, you bracket him. To me, that's just you have to bracket him. Now, I'm not going to say you do it every play, but there's a certain percentage of your plays he's got to have bracket coverage on him, especially on third down kind of conversion stuff. You got to take that look away. I think the problem is what do you do if they're in 12 personnel and they got OJ Howard or Brayton on the field, or if they're in 11-man personnel and they've got I think Tyler Johnson. I would assume Tyler Johnson's going to work the slot for them. I don't know. They also have the young dude, Mike. He's fast.
Scotty Miller.
So I don't know how they're going to utilize those guys, because I think Tyler Johnson is really an outside receiver, but I'm sure that he's played a certain percentage of snaps on the inside. That's really the question is, like, what do you do? You have to win those other matchups. You can put Slay on Mike Evans, and you just hope that Slay can overcome the physical stature of Mike Evans. I think he's banged up too, so we'll see what happens there. But you bracket Gronk, then you got to stop the other guys from making plays. That's the thing. You got a quarterback that's going to be able to get off this first and second read. He's going to be able to get to that third read. And I think the real key here is if he is getting through to those third and fourth reads, a defensive line, Jonathan Gannon, it's time to speed the clock up. we need to speed his clock up here. That's really the trick to a guy like Brady. You got to knock him off the spot. You got to speed the clock up. And you just can't. Brady can get to that third and fourth read. He can do it all day long. Jeez, pause on that one. But you get what I'm saying here. Like, no matter how you approach that, man, like, you have to bracket Gronk. You have to do the best you can do to remove Mike Evans. And then you just got to hope that you don't give Brady enough time to get to that third and fourth read. Because if you give him enough time to do that, it's going to be a long, long day. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Let me get your take on this. Now, this is something I don't like to really bring stuff up like this normally, but it does happen in Tom Brady games, right? That 50-50 call, referees, you know what I mean? Look, I'm not saying nobody should get stuff, but we all know that Brady being the best, hands down, the GOAT when it comes to football, these close calls, these questionable calls, 50-50 calls normally go Brady's way, He's crying for a pass interference. He gets it, right? That's something we're going to be definitely having to watch. This game for the Eagles to win has to be a perfect game. I mean, we have to have the least amount of penalties. We have to have the least amount of turnovers. We got to win that battle and then still hope for something to go our way because Brady has seen it all. And we can't act like just because he's down some players, I mean, look what he's done. Look, in that Super Bowl that we went toe-to-toe with Brady, we did win. He threw for 500 yards, and he was throwing to guys like Chris Hogan and who was the other dude? Because remember, Brandon Cooks got knocked out. Malcolm Jenkins put him to sleep before half. And so it was Chris Hogan. It was a bunch of who? Amendola. Like these guys weren't, they're not name brand guys, but Brady made them look good. So you definitely got to watch out for all that. And hopefully to win. Hopefully, I know that people are saying in the chat there's no rain. It's just going to be wind. But it is what it is at this point.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be. I see your comments, Russ, but let's call a spade, my guy, because there's nowhere you can take this conversation. You guys, the NFL is literally one step away from wrapping Brady into bubble wrap when there's an interception and a referee gets between Derek Barnett and Tom Brady, which is legally allowed to block him on that play. My guy, that's Charmin soft, straight toilet paper soft, bro. Let's call a spade.
Yeah. And by no means am I going to come on here and say that. Because like I said, when one or two bad calls happen, that's football. It does happen. But physically what Gates said is true. When an interception is thrown, if you're a quarterback, fall to the ground then. If you don't fall to the ground, I don't care if you're a quarterback. You get treated like anybody else. When it's an interception, you are not on offense no more. You are on defense. If you don't want the smoke, fall to the ground. Instead, he tries to act tough and he calls the stripes next to him. Hey, yo, can you get Derek Barnett out of my face? Exactly. You can't physically stop a play when the play's going. So he can't act like
I get that. I'm gonna need Derek Barnett not to even put himself in that predicament.
Who?
Derek Barnett. Hey, what do you mean? You don't want late hit Barnett out there?
No, don't even put yourself in that predicament. Like you we know this going into it. You can't get mad at something that you already know the answer to. You know what I mean? Like if Mike, if you call me yesterday, like, man, it's crazy, I had to pay all my bills, I ain't got no money, and I call you the next day, Mike, can I hold something? Bro, I ain't got no money. And I'm mad. I'm mad at you. Like, you can't be mad at things that you already know the answer to. Like, don't even, you sitting there playing slap hands with the dude, and like don't even. And I just watched the game the other day, so it's fresh in my mind right now. But the rest definitely been horrible this year. I mean, I don't know if y'all seen it, but those dudes that did the Bengals game, they can't ref for the rest of the playoffs with that horrible call that they did. That was crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like that. So
they basically reversed the rule. They just basically overruled an actual rule from the play.
That was y'all all three of y'all get together. Y'all don't know the rules. Once the whistle was blown, everything is dead. It don't matter if the ball's in the air. It's dead. Like, how do you not know that? But anyway, that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I don't think Oakland was going to win anyway. I know the score looked closer than what it was, but they still was kind of like dominating them, like for real. But hey, they can make that argument. I know I would be if that was us. I'd be making that damn argument.
Kush, are you really in here trying to bring the energy that we lost to the Giants? Didn't you guys get smacked? Not just lost, got smacked by the Washington football team. Who? Come on, bro. You better move on with that trash take.
Who you talking about?
We lost to the Giants. Y'all lost to the Washington football team. Both of them are not in the playoffs. It is what it is. Somebody said that, we're really talking about, like he just said, y'all lost to the Giants. Like we shouldn't be talking about playoff football. We're here. I don't know who your team is, but shout out to Drew with the $2 donation. He said pressure and running the rock. Keys to victory. Don't got to get too crazy. Just do what you need to do. Pressure is going to be big. We haven't been able to get pressure. We're one of the least, we blitzed the least in the NFL, but I think I do think Gannon has been sending more timely blitzes, and I think you're going to need to see him. This is the game that I don't want to. You can't just blitz Brady all game, anyways, because any defense that you play against Tom Brady just multiple times, he's going to learn it. He's going to pick it apart. So you definitely got to change things up, throw some wrinkles. as Gate alluded to after I said I thought I saw more man, and he said we went about 18 to 30 something percent. We got to see north of that 30% because you gotta any zone that you play, for the majority of the game, Brady's gonna just figure it out. So I think you got to throw some wrinkles in there, and this got to be our best game, hands down. This got to be our best game. We had good defensive games. We had good offensive games. We really never had no good special teams. Instead of returning and kick return game, Jake Elliott has been good, but this got to be all three facets of the game. Got to click. We got to start fast. Real quick, shout out to JB with the $2 super chat. Can we dress Rager in Swoop's costume? Listen. Swoop probably catches some balls out there.
And then what? Do you rather have Rager or JJ? I think a Whiteside. Think about it.
Greg Ward. I'll take C.
Yeah.
None of the above.
There you go.
I mean, but seriously, and Rager is not defense, but I think you just have to get the ball in his hands. Like, get the ball in his hands. Use him. He's not Deebo Samuels, but use him how they use Deebo. You know what I mean? Line him up in the backfield sometimes instead of having Slay back there run around for no damn reason. At first, I thought it was cute. It was cute to see him out there doing motion, but then you do nothing with him. So I don't understand what that's for. You know what I mean? Instead, you can have one of your supposed to be playmakers back there doing these kind of things and probably give them the ball. So, I was like, John Hightower's hurt. He's out.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
The crazy thing is that when you look at Hightower, and Mike, I'll let you go right into this one. Hightower didn't get elevated. They put was it Keyshawn Johnson up?
Keyshawn.
Like,
Hightower can't get that job back. I mean, I don't know what he's doing over there. What are you doing, Hightower? Because I saw some signs of at least separation in his couple games in the beginning of the 2020 season. He had a case of the Aguilars or the Regulars, or as Philly 500 would say. To me, look, I think we need to see Greg Ward Jr. Low key, he's been given the least amount of snaps when you look at Devontae, Quez, Rager. Then it goes to Greg Ward Jr. He's made big catches down this stretch, right? Two of the last, if you look at Jalen Hurts' best 5 throws in the last 5 games, at least 2 of them were to Greg Ward. Clutch throws on third down, back shoulder touchdown. So Greg Ward has been rising to the occasion. He's not a name that people are like, oh, watch out for Greg Ward, but he has something of that Jason Avant skill set in a sense that, you need a conversion, you need a big play. Somehow Greg Ward's there. He's not going to get you yak. He's not going to do all this stuff, but he finds the right time to shine, and we're going to need that in this Tampa Bay game. Real quick, shout out to Christian T with the $5 super chat. He said, prayers out to Sweat. But how do you guys feel about Milton Williams playing defensive end? He played pretty good against the Washington football team. I'm going to let Gate take this one first. He's definitely the Milton Williams guy. But listen, wherever you're watching this, we got 555 people watching. We are live on 3 channels: Philly Talk Podcast, Philly Fresh's channel, Gate City's channel. We drop Eagles content, good or bad, ugly or sad, or happy or sad, all week. So subscribe to the people's channels and hit the like button wherever you're watching it. It is free. It helps the algorithm, whatever that dang word is. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. It is free. Go ahead, Gate. What is your take on Milton Williams playing outside defensive end?
A lot of people don't realize that Milton Williams is naturally a 5 technique. He's naturally defensive end. That's where he started his college career at. Because of C-19 hitting, the global pandemic that occurred, they had a reduction in scholarships there. I believe he was at Louisiana Tech, and they had basically asked him if he would play inside. And he had a lot of up moments there, playing on the inside. I mean, he had some games, if you go and run the film against, BYU and Marshall, to where he got washed out of the zone when they were doubling the interior linemen. He's got to learn how to anchor in that 2-gap type thing at times. But he's all effort, and he's a tremendous athlete. And if you get him in a pass rushing down where he can beat you off that first initial pass rush move, I mean, it's lethal. It's lethal what he can do to these guys. With that said, I think the Eagles I think we all kind of like in the preseason kind of visioned him more as like a Brandon Graham if you dropped him down a couple of pounds that could play outside, inside. But I think the Eagles saw him as no, physically, he's not quite as long in the arms, but physically, he's very similar to Malik Jackson. And Malik Jackson had that inside outside versatility. So I think internally they saw him more as a Malik Jackson type, a guy that they had just lost, by the way, into free agency. Well, we kind of June 1st, so we knew that was coming clearly. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I think they saw him as a guy that could replace that role as an interior pass rusher that has the athleticism to get outside. He's probably going to split. You guys are going to like the answer. He's going to probably split reps with Ryan Kerrigan. Now, I don't know who's going to get more, I don't know who's going to get more reps. I would say that probably Milton Williams, because there's more versatility what Milton Williams can do than what Ryan Kerrigan can do at this point. But I mean, that's the honest answer, guys, is that he's going to play probably some 3 technique. He's going to play probably a lot of 5 technique with Milton Williams being out. And then you'll probably see him split reps with Kerrigan on the outside as a 5 technique. The other guy is Theron Jackson. So, I mean, at least you got 4 healthy guys coming out there that are at least, they're not starters, not all starters, but they're all guys that have played at least 200 some snaps on the season. You're not guys getting their first game action per se.
You know what? Going through my head as you were saying what you were saying, Gates.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta draft a defensive end in this upcoming draft. Because I mean, when you look at it, we're talking about we lose one guy, and we're talking about having a guy that's kind of converted to DT that used to be a DN, and he's really not a DN, but he might be a DN. And no, get a freaking DN. I like Milton Williams, but like you said, to me, he's not a guy that's supposed to be on the outside all the time. You want to know why? Because of his size, he cannot bend. He cannot get under these tackles and go around. So a lot of the pressure, now this is good that we're facing Tom Brady and we don't have to worry about him getting on the outside. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the pressure does need to come from the middle. So that's a plus there. But I'm just saying he's not a defensive end. And a lot of that has to do because of his size. And it's hard for that guy that big to be able to bend and get around a tackle. That's what a lot of defensive ends do. That's how they eat. Ryan Kerrigan, can you record a stat for us, please? Okay. I think you got a 000. What's going on? You got no.
I think he got a tackle now. I think he got one.
I think he got a running back hit. He ain't got no damn tackle. He got no tackles. You got no pressure. You ain't got no set sight. Now he might have a tackle. I don't know. But it took him 10, 12 weeks. Dude, can you do something for us pretty please with sugar on top? Like, what's going on, man? Nobody in the league wanted to sign you. We gave you a chance, and then you treat us like this. It looked like you ain't going to be. It looked like you're not going to be in the NFL next year. I don't know, man. Maybe we should have hired that Vinny Curry again or something. I don't freaking know. But we do find ourselves in a position to where as though our defensive end depth is abysmal.
It is.
And let's not talk about the guy on the other side. We understand Brandon Graham was supposed to play for us. But you talk about the guy on the other side, he's not dominant either. Yeah, he's a first-round pick, but he has played nowhere near one. So the defensive end situation coming into this game is not good at all. And that's kind of scary right now. When Gate City was breaking down everything he said about Milton Williams, I just thought about how much a loss that Josh Sweat is.
Yeah.
Because you don't have no other guy, for real. You don't. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Dopes 72 Dubs with the $5 super chat. He said final score prediction. We've been live for about 55 minutes. At the end, if you're not used to watching us, we do this every Sunday or Saturday or Tuesday. When before the games, we give our breakout player on offense and defense and a final score prediction at the end, which will be happening in about 5 to 10 minutes. So if you can hang in there, we got you there. Shout out to LT with the $4.99 super chat. He said they need to use Rager as a RB because he's very fast and use Gainwell as a slot receiver. Quez and Smith on the outside. I definitely like the wrinkle of using Gainwell as a pass catcher. I definitely like that wrinkle. I think it needs to be shown, and what better time to do it than the playoffs. Again, I don't think they'll ever line up Rager in the backfield like a running back, but we do see them try to force the issue with that wide receiver reverse. You're probably going to see at least two of them in this game. I don't think it hasn't been successful besides that Raiders game where he had like back-to-back runs that got us down to the goal line, then he got hurt. So maybe you can do it again. Tampa Bay is weak on the outside running to stopping the run. I said it already. 4 out of the last 6 games they let 100 yards on the ground. That top 3 ranking ain't really telling a lot. It's actually hiding some of the it's lying because 4 games of over 100 yards, and now we got the number 1 rushing team coming in to Tampa, averaging 160 yards. We got to use the outsides, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Rager,
like you said,
everybody.
But here's the thing, like you did say, they linebacker was out. I think he was out last 4 games or something, right? The linebacker you saw. So
Levante Davis,
Davis.
Yeah. So that I mean, one guy can change.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Yeah. He can change how the defense looks. But real fast, I wanted to ask y'all this. 8-point underdogs. I understand reigning Super Bowl champions, defending the crown, they are home, yada yada yada. So you mean to tell me we're 8-point underdogs and they lost Chris Godwin, AB, Leonard Fournette.
Mm-hmm.
So if those 3 was playing, what the hell we would be like? 14-point underdog? Like, to me, I'm asking this to say, should the Eagles players feel disrespected in it being 8 points? Like, I would understand 6 but 8, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
I mean, I'll say this, like, the number of lines, a lot of that has to do with the way the money's coming in on the game and they move it to entice people to bet the other way. So I don't put too much stock into that, to be honest.
Yeah, but it never moved. It never moved, Gates.
It moved. It moved. I think we're down to 7 points now. They moved it. They moved it trying to get people in.
Okay.
But with that said, like, look, I mean, they're the defending world champs. They got us at home. Realistically, are they going to beat us by 8 points? Probably not. But with that said, like, I expected us to be underdogs here. And to be honest with you, if you're the Eagles, is there any other place you'd want to be other than being the underdog? Because this team seems to feed off of that. You know what I mean? Like, they love playing that underdog role. I mean, come on, man. You saw the Twitter, all the tweets out there. Like, man, they were already in the dog mask 4 o'clock this morning. They were already in the dog mask, man. We live off of this, man. We live off this underdog role.
That's facts.
You think it's going to be a lot of Eagles fans there? I'm gonna say no because they just won a championship. So a lot of how team bandwagon fans are. So I don't think that like how we usually take over a stadium, it's going to be like that today.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to take it over just because I do think Tampa has a pretty good fan base, but there's a lot of Eagles fans.
Yeah, they just won a championship. Of course, they got a good fan base.
They got a bunch of guys.
It's hard to take over if they're selling their tickets. It's really hard to take it over. It ain't gonna be like when I went to Carolina. It was almost a 50-50 mix.
Wow.
Like we almost completely took it over in Carolina.
Hey, listen, at Washington, I'm telling you, it was 70-30 Eagles.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that's bad. That's real bad.
And then you had the one Cowboys fan. Everybody booed.
Oh, that was a great video that you put up on there. Real quick, shout out to Rudino Atkins with the 199 super chat. TJ Edwards and the linebacker play will be important today. I gotta agree. We're definitely gonna need to see that, whether it's Jannard Avery as one of his X factors blitzing from the linebacker position, whether it's Singleton with an open field tackle that you must bring down, whether it's Keyshawn Vaughn or Le'Veon Bell or Giovanni Bernard, and most importantly, whatever linebacker is helping cover Gronkowski. And you see how I said helping, because he shouldn't be matched up one-on-one, whether it's TJ Edwards, whoever's helping in the bracket situation, they got to be on their P's and Q's. Brady gets the ball out fast. He's going to look at Gronk. He's going to look at Brate. He's going to look at OJ Howard. I almost said Simpson. Shout out to Jersey Boy with the $5 super chat. He said, great learning experience for us. Young Bucks on the offense need to impose our will. Vets on the defense got to step up. Eagles will win 24-20. And as we get to this score prediction, which I like that one, I'm going to have to steal that one. Let us know in the chat who your offense and defensive player of the game is and your score prediction, because we about to close out. One more super chat from Miguel. He said, well, shout out to the $3 super chat. We got to make Brady uncomfortable all day long. Fly, Eagles, fly. I agree. Do not let number 12 get in his comfort zone. With that being said, who want to go first with the breakout players?
Oh, man. I'll go first.
All right, here we go. Let us know in the chat.
I'm going to go offense because I'll never, ever go for offense first. I'm going to go offense first.
Trying to switch it up.
It's Jalen Hurts. I think this is Jalen Hurts' game. It's Jalen. I think this is the game, man, because we don't know what's going to go on in the running game. But you know who can make things really hard if you start crashing down, trying to knock the ball out of Sanders' hands? Jalen, when he's zone reads you to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be Jalen's game. Defensively, this is a tough one to pick defensively, man, just because I don't love the matchups anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I like Slay's matchup because Mike Williams is still a little beat up, but I don't love Devontae Maddox, on Gronk potentially. So I'm gonna say it's got to be someone along that defensive line that's going to have to really stand out in this game. It's going to have to play well, and we're already down Josh Sweat, which I know 2020 is mad because that was his prediction. So I'm gonna say I'm not going Derek Barnett, bro. I picked him like 3 times this season. He goosed me all 3 times. We're not going Derek Barnett today, guys. You know who's going to get there, I think, today? Javon Hargrave. Where you at, Javon? Let's go.
There you go. That interior pressure. Shout out to JB with the $2 super chat. He said, I need that wrench. Reese, I need that wrench.
I already got him. It's already there for you, brother. You asked for it, you shall receive.
All right. So Gate got Jalen Hurts on offense and Javon Hargrave.
Hey,
quarterback
playoffs. If it's different rules in the playoffs.
That's a scapegoat, man.
Hey, would you
all right,
go and pick Rager? Set the chat off and pick Rager.
All right, what's your hell no? What's your score, man? I remember I picked JJ. I think a Whiteside before, so
yeah.
All right, I was gonna pick 31-28, but since I'm seeing Buck fans trying to chime in with 57-3. I'm going to just go ahead and make up ridiculous numbers, too. 96-3 Philly, since we just going to throw out junk numbers.
I love it. Got to play fire with fire.
So let me get this right. You picked a scapegoat as your quarterback, and then you gave the most obscene score you could ever do possible. Come on. This might be our last
31-28.
This might be our last pregame this year, man. Come on.
Don't say that.
I said might be. I mean, it's 50-50. It's 50-50.
I know. I hear you.
But all right. Let me get y'all some real predictions. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go with the score first, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Jake Elliott kicks a field goal to win it. I am going to go 25-24 Philadelphia Eagles. Jake Elliott kicks a field goal to win it, man. All right. So, offensive player, man. I think Devontae Smith eats. In his first, I got him over 100 yards and a touchdown in his first playoff game. Defense.
You said Devontae?
Huh? Yeah, Devontae Smith, yeah. Defense. I'm going to go with my X factor. I think he gets a sack and a half, and I think he makes it uncomfortable for Tom Brady, but they got to do it early and often. But I'm going to go with Jannard Avery, man. I've been seeing some things that Jonathan Gannon has been using this kid, and I like it a lot. I like how they've been using him. It's just been in the second half. I need it done in the first quarter. You gotta throw the kitchen. You don't gotta throw the kitchen sink at them, but you can throw some cabinets, some forks. Probably a refrigerator here and there, like the toaster. You know what I mean? Like, you don't gotta throw everything at him, but you gotta throw some things at him all the time. You gotta continuously put pressure on this guy. It should be none of that I don't even care if it's 3rd and 15. It should be none of those dime packages to where as though you're just sitting back and trying to have a guy catch the ball and rock. No. You try to get pressure on Tom Brady as much as you can. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, so shout out to Real Talk Perez. He's a Bucks fan. He dropped a $2 super chat. He said, "You have no chance. Send the link if you want to know why." Listen, I'm not opposed to talking to the ops. We do that all the time with a lot of content creators.
First of all,
However,
I'm not talking to no dude that got. First of all, look at the teams that he likes. I want to talk to you. Look at like who likes the Lakers and the Mets?
Professional front runners.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, look, at the end of the day,
I know that's your guy. I'm messing with him, man.
Yeah, but it is definitely a weird. He all over the globe. But with that being said, the Bucks are the better team. We are underdogs for a reason, but I don't think there's no chance. And if we were going for at least 20 more minutes, I'll let you come on here and say your piece. I did a call in the other day, and a couple Buck fans came on. It is what it is. But shout out to you, Real Talk. I'm definitely going to want to hear what you got to say after the game, win or lose, especially if you guys lose. We coming. Shout out to DT. Cowboys.
Go ahead.
We got a Cowboy fan over here with a $5 super chat. He said, "Mike, I'm going to need Philly to cover for that big Bredsky." Hey, I mean, we going to try to do you a favor. You know what I mean? I'm hopefully the 49ers win.
Well, listen, but here's the thing. If he playing a ticket, I'm pretty sure he picked Dallas, and so he gonna lose his ticket anyway. It don't matter. It don't matter anyway. The 49ers are gonna win.
That's gonna be a good game.
It is gonna be a good game, and I'm gonna be smiling from cheek to cheek. You hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, San Francisco is definitely the more physical team, bro. But at the end of the day, they got Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that, but Dak Prescott hasn't been playing better than Jimmy Garoppolo, other than when he played a bunch of our backers. For real. He hasn't been playing good.
I'm kind of mad that we got his confidence back up, because I know it was backups, but he looked really good doing it. So sometimes that's all you need.
I mean, but to me, that's embarrassing that y'all was celebrating like that against 4 stringers. Like, come on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he was.
We played a preseason game. Y'all played like y'all was trying to get into the playoffs. Like, come on, man. That was embarrassing, man. That was embarrassing. Before we get out of here, I don't know if y'all did it. I didn't have a chance to. But did any of y'all dissect what the Saints did for them to put up a donut? Like, I don't know if Tom Brady ever been shut out, but put up a donut. Did any of y'all see anything that sticks out that the Philadelphia Eagles should take from the Saints? How they held Tom Brady to 0 points?
They got to win one-on-one matchups. That's what they did. Their defensive line just kind of took over the game on them, to be honest.
Yeah, and they were just physical.
Cam Jordan and all, and what's the other kid? I can't remember the other kid.
Yeah, the defensive line just straight up took over the game on them. And it's kind of tough to do. Like, I know people, they say that, but that's always tough to replicate, because you can have a really good defense, but it doesn't mean your personnel is apples for apples with another team. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find your way of beating a team, not the way another team did. I mean, I would love to see, if Josh Sweat was out there, I would love to see Josh Sweat play that Cam Jordan role and wreck a game plan like that. But I don't know, Reese. Without Josh Sweat, I don't know that we got that kind of guy that can be that kind of impact.
We need Fletch to listen. Fletch got any gas left in the tank, empty it out. But
here's the thing with that. If you got no threats on the outside, they can double team Fletch and Hargrave when they choose to.
But if Fletch really wants it, even 2 guys Fletch can wreck a game. We just need that. We need one of Fletch's old school games. We need 2-3 years ago Fletch to come out and shine. Shout out to DT with another $5 super chat. He said, "I took the Bills and the over and Philly to cover 3-leg parlay for $1,000. Cowboys on its own ticket for 1,000 on the spread by 3." So he got 2 tickets. So hey, if Philly wins, if Philly helps you cover, I need like 8%, 10% of that, my guy. You know what I mean? We doing favors for you over here.
I think he just gave you that in the super chat, Mike.
Yeah, you're right. I'll take it. Hey, with that being said, I got to do my offense and defensive guys. I said my score predict. I didn't say my score prediction.
Yes, you did. You took 20 to 24. You said I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, but I kind of changed my mind. 27-24. 27-24. 27-24. On offense.
Mike said, come get me at the 2-minute warning for the game.
I know, right? We were supposed to end 10 minutes ago. 27-24. Defensive player of the game is going to be none other than Avonte Maddox. He's too small to guard Gronk, but we're going to see that matchup a couple times with some heavier guys bracketing him. He's going to get a pick. I'm going to love it. And when we flip it over to the offensive side, I'm going to go Dallas Goedert, right? He wasn't here last matchup. He's he's our best blocking tight end and our best pass catching tight end, of course. And he's going to wreck the game with some blocks down the field and a couple big chunk plays via the pass. So I got DG and I got AV and 27-24. Shout out to Real Talk Perez one more time.
You got the roommates, huh?
Well, they got the bag now. They definitely are able to go get their own spot now. They both got the bag this year. Shout out to Real Talk Perez with the $5 super chat. Just so we are clear, it will be 1 or 2 score game. We just going to control it all game, saving our A game for next round. Whoa. Jumping the gun.
Yeah, no. I want the coach to tell them exactly what. I want the coach of Buccaneers to tell them exactly what you did. Yeah, go ahead, play with your food. Play with your food. Please do. Please.
Yes.
Please.
But he said
because here's the thing, Mike. They played with us, pause. But they was messing around last game, and we almost won that freaking game.
Yeah, they took their foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah,
and if it wasn't for and look, I understand it was 28-7, and so they were busting us in the first half, and they did take their feet off the gas pedal. But when you look at the totality of the game, it came down to a Jannard Avery taunting penalty that could have probably gave us the ball back. And last but not least, it took a long third down to AB to ice the game. So although they were smacking us in the first half, we came back and I don't want to see that happen in this first half. But with all that being said, Eagle Nation, we got 500 in here. Hit the like button wherever you're watching it. It's free. It's easy. Buck fans, hit the dislike button. I don't care. We can't see it anymore. And I'm upset that we can't see because I love to hate. Normally I
can see mine.
We I mean the public can't see it. You can only see it in your Creator Studios.
The public anymore.
Yeah,
it's a weird concept because whether someone likes or dislikes it, it helps the algorithm. So it really has. It's absolutely no bearing on anything.
Soft. This world's too soft. You can't say anything negative anymore.
We don't know. There's probably big time people that's on YouTube that was complaining. Probably complaining, I get too many dislikes and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care. I love when people hit the dislike button. Yeah, anyways,
I'm doing something right.
Exactly right. With that being said, subscribe to everybody on the panel. Philly Fresh in the search bar. Gate City Sports Talk. Right? Did you change your name physically with the media thing or not yet?
No, not yet.
So it's Gate City Sports Talks though in search bar.
If they type in Gate City Sports, I'll pop up.
There you go. Gate City, Philly Fresh, Philly Talk Podcast. Hey, we're gonna be talking win or lose throughout the whole week. Catch our videos, hit the like button wherever you're watching, and we are out.
Yoda.
All right, y'all.
Peace.